Hey, welcome to Trapping Inc. I'm Rich Mellon. Well, today we are in tough man country when it comes to trapping. Let me tell you, we're in east central Saskatchewan.
That's right, yep.
And it is brutal cold. It has been cold for 2 weeks. This morning we're well past minus 30, and then with the wind chill we're sitting in the minus 40 range. So it's made it tough, hasn't it? This is David Wyman and Lyndon Crevy. Two very tough trappers.
A little crazy, maybe.
Well, crazy helps. So, you've got a lot of Marten and Fisher stuff out.
Yeah.
But like, how many traps you got out right now?
Oh, we'd have about 43, 44.
Yeah, and just nothing moves in the cold. You guys know what it's like on your own lines when it gets brutally cold. Everything shuts down. Well, that's what's happened here too. So. We've been hoping for the ones under the water that they're going to be a little bit more motion, more beaver, huh?
Yeah, a little more cooperative down underneath, down under.
You know, the one thing I'm impressed about, and we've just started out on the line here, the sun has come up, and even though it's so brutally cold, it's just one of those days that is just great to be alive. Mm-hmm. You guys don't have seismic lines or cut lines like we do at home. You guys got to cut every foot of your trail. It's tough.
Seismic lines, what's that?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a soft country Alberta trapper.
So we pay for every foot here, and every year, of course, even if you got your trail, there's the maintenance part, but we like to make our loops, and the last few years we've been adding a few extras to make it more interesting, more economical.
You tell me you got 25 miles of it now.
Yeah.
And that's hard fought 25 miles. This is tough stuff.
Well, it's funny, we use a crowbar. And then we use a sledgehammer to soften them up, to shake them loose, and then pull them out. And we use a chainsaw, of course, as well. But we use all the tools of the trade just to get them clear, because we're the ones that go down those trails.
Yeah, nobody else.
We don't want to be bouncing and banging our machines and ourselves all the way through. It's extra work, but once you got them, pretty nice.
Well, we've got some traps to check just on the other side of this beaver house, so stick around. Trapping is the cornerstone that Canada was built on. Brave and sometimes crazy men and women, fueled by the lucrative fur trade, explored and mapped our great nation. Hundreds of years have passed since then, but trapping still remains vibrant, strong, and steeped in the ancient traditions. The fur bearers still follow the old paths and live as dictated by thousands of years of instinct. Fur only gets prime in the harsh temperatures of winter, and trappers must respect and prepare for the weather. Trapping's past is firmly rooted in history, but today, the gear and techniques have changed. Canada is still known for the best wild fur in the world, and today our pelts are sold on the global market. Our community is large, and our numbers are growing. We are trappers. This is what we do, and where we belong. Join us in our adventures. Welcome to Trapping Inc., the face of today's trapper.
If you get a snow and you're not paying attention and it starts eating from the bottom, you can walk right in there and down you go, eh? You're not going to drown, but you're going to get wet. And wet's not fun. This is interesting. I don't know if it's necessary to move anything. You notice how they're both...
They're open?
Yeah, so I'll just get the shovel and get the kind of snow in first.
What's that?
I'll just get the shovel. You see how they open?
Yeah.
Most often you do fine. That's the way it's chipping ice, eh?
Yeah.
Have to watch the feed on that one. I noticed you've done this before as well, so you try to go as wide as you can, right?
Yeah.
Because after about 4 checks, every time you lose an inch or two, right?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Trapping Inc. is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Halford Hides, unique beyond compare. Find us online at halfordsmailorder.com. Prevail Energy, the healthy energy drink. Find us online at endurance99.com. And by Alberta Outdoorsman Magazine, Alberta's only hunting, fishing, and trapping magazine. albertaoutdoorsman.ca.
Once we get them out, I don't know how big the boy is.
By his foot.
Yep. Okay. Checker's in there.
Now, we
Yeah, I
really
will.
can't
You
mess
just get
around
this
when it's this cold. These straps have to come off quick or they damage
Okay.
the fur. Because it'll freeze onto it.
Okay. Nope. Okay.
There we go.
Just a youngster.
Yeah. It's amazing how much you can dry out a beaver with snow.
Yeah, I love this. You know, I'm always, every time I do it, I just can't believe it. It's just so remarkable.
And you know what's going to happen, and yet you still can't believe it.
Yeah. Look at that already. All those guard hairs have come up. Dry
He's a
grass.
nice dark color, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's a nice guy. Chubby too. Very good shape. Looks freezing. Okay, got her.
So when you twist the tops together there, that makes it a lot more rigid, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, sturdy, yeah.
way more feel for what you're doing. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
more
See, I'm going right down too. I like this set now. I like that a lot.
Cool.
How are we gonna put?
Log behind you, I think we
Yeah. Sticks in there. Other one throws in on us. That'll be better. Okay. I'll let you fill that baby in.
Stuff we always do at the end, eh? We mark it. If you get 2 feet of snow, you wouldn't know where you're walking.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we ended up catching a marten here. We picked this nice ridge just along the edge of this small creek system, and he's come right up here. That's why I like these, you know, marten boxes. You could do a whole story of marten boxes forever. I like these verticals, and I like them facing down, so the entry of this animal comes straight up, and you can see this martens come straight up the pipe. Nice suitcase catch. On this particular design, we have a separate compartment with the screen on here. This happens to be a good hunk of beaver fat and fur, and it just closes up easily like that. It only takes seconds to change it around, and we like to run our cable over top a branch so it still hangs. This one's not maybe totally ideal because it like hanging away from the tree, but we do some pretty regular checks, and we've had actually no predation like this at all as compared to having them on the ground. So
Okay, and what do you use, a lure?
yeah, this particular one, because it's been so cold, like it's minus 30 something this morning.
Well, this is we're in the second week of brutal cold here, so it's nothing's moving. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough going here. Like we sit on tracks. We've got quite a few boxes up, and as you can see, we were only this is the first one we've caught on this trip so far. And normally we should have a half dozen or more, but it's just so cold they're not moving. But we have to answer your question, we have a skunk lure that we use. Good old Terry Barnes is down in the south, Marten Magic.
Marten Magic, yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
It's killed a lot of marten.
It has. And even in this real cold weather, you can smell it here this morning, whereas a lot of it you can't, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and you know, Forsyth makes a good stuff too. I've used his. There's lots of good skunk-based stuff out, but that's what we have this morning.
Right on.
Okay. That's the baby. Probably the highlight for me on these boxes is the easiness to take the animal off, but also change bait after a while when you want to. Let me take a second.
And now for Halford's Trapper's Tip of the Week.
On today's tech tip, we're going to talk a little bit about safety and about keeping ourselves healthy. We should always wear gloves. No matter what you're skinning, there's always something, even if it's just a knife poke that causes infection. But especially when we're dealing with water animals, this is a nice big otter here, muskrat, beaver, they all carry a lot of disease that we can end up getting. So we should wear something on our hands, at least to give us a modicum of protection. Yeah, we can still poke ourselves, that happens. There are two different kinds of disposable gloves that you're going to be able to readily access. They're either going to be latex or they're going to be made from nitrile. Now, both have their pluses and minuses. The light ones, the latex or nitrile, the very light ones, I find I seldom get an animal skin before I'm putting a new one on, just because when you get stressing on stuff and get pulling, well, I'll pull my fingers right through them. The heavy duty ones, while doing a much better job, they have their disadvantages, the fact that because they're heavy, they will take and slide on my finger, they'll roll on my finger. That makes it a lot harder, especially when you're pushing fur off, right? What I have now been using this year, and I'm really impressed with, they are a nitrile glove. They're called grips. What is so neat about them is that they're very durable. They fit nice, they're made from nitrile, and they have a little bit of texturing to them. I've used them now. Well, you can see how dirty these are. I've used them multiple times, and they've hung in there. So, just one of those things, guys. Take care of yourselves. We don't want anybody getting sick over this. Wear some protection. Here's what the best I've found. We're always getting asked for what we use. Here's what I'm using.
That was Halford's Trapper's Tip of the Week.
See the frost cone there? You can know there's some life in this baby.
So you're saying with that frost coming out means there's beaver in here?
There's definitely beaver. Because usually we can tell if we got something just by how much weight is there.
She's sprung.
That's a little bit of weight.
Hey!
There's our buddy. Woo. Oh, well, we need the trap setter.
Yeah, they got to stay in the water in this temperature until you get your setters, right?
Exactly. And you can't be playing around too long. So this is a 12-inch Savino we got on here with a big bait stick. And we had feelings that this would work just because a nice big poplar bait stick looks so enticing for these guys compared to this alder they got here.
Yeah.
Okay. The little guy.
Well, the whole deal is to get that off before it freezes to him.
Yes, you don't want that. That's hard on the fur. Okay. Get it off.
There you go.
Brody, if we had more get some of that water off them too, it dries them out quite a bit. Makes a big difference when you're skinning them later on.
See when the water hits it, it softens it a little bit.
Yeah. Makes a big
Much to
difference.
go through there.
Makes a big, big difference. Something funny with
Hard
this
one, eh?
It's not set off either. This one bothers me because it's a pretty.
Unless
You
they're
want
just
to give me
using,
that real long stick there again?
unless they're just using the one run always.
Well, just let me.
See, this is what Lyndon, he picked us up. This is off,
They're underground water heaters.
yeah. So what's neat about it, it's got some flexibility, yet it's pretty rigid. And if we cut it so it fits into our sleigh. See, that thing is going right down the pipe in there.
It's bent, it'll go right in there.
How the hell we're not catching them? Because there's a shelf. There's a shelf there. There's a shelf right there. We must be going around it somehow. We gotta get over, Lyndon. We gotta get over here a little more. I'll chip around a little bit there.
So you're actually feeling where his run goes into his house with that.
Exactly, and I'm also, I can tell on either side where there's walls.
Yeah, you're looking for the wall.
Oh,
what I can-
right. Because he has a trench in the bottom of the of the creek, right?
Yeah, and I see we had that thing right down to the bottom, so I like that part. We're down far enough. He's sneaking around on this side.
Okay.
So we'll have to get a little.
Trapping Inc. is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Argo UTV, any season, any terrain. ArgoUTV.com. Puma Knives, knife maker to the world since 1786. And by Carl Zeiss Sport Optics, we make it visible. Gentech-intl.com.
I want you to tell me about it. Let's see what we got anyway.
Well, as a variety, we'd like to do these run-throughs like this. We find, I always have real problems with mink. And I find lots of, like this isn't a mink set per se, but I picked them up mostly for mink. And now we do them on some of these runways for fisher and marten and weasels.
So you got 2 boxes and
Yeah.
they can go right through, or 2 traps, they can go straight through it.
Yeah, and they're 120 Belials at this point. And, they seem to, I really believe that they feel that they can go through. We close them in quite often with spruce boughs, eh?
Okay.
And I can see this one's fired, that one isn't, so I don't know what exactly we got there. We're gonna have to pull this off. Frozen on there, I see. Sometimes they freeze in there like the son of a gun. Oh. What did they say? You set for a mouse and peg it down for an elephant? Something like that?
Anchor for an elephant.
Anchor
Yeah.
for an elephant. Well, it looks like we got
The
a
mouse.
little front-tail weasel. Is what we're going to get this time around. And you notice that we converted these all to pan sets.
Okay, yeah.
Really, all my run-throughs, except the verticals that we looked at before, we caught that marten. Of course, that was just the regular one. But any run-through or any one-sided box, we do all of them with pan sets now. And that's how you can catch these weasels. Otherwise, lots of times they're sneaking along the edge on you.
So those are kind of cool pans that you made them yourself.
Yep, I got them. It's called a TP37 tie for rafters, and you just cut them in half, and then you just drill the middle hole a little larger, and use that same bolt that you have on your where your trigger would go.
And it becomes a perfect pan.
Fits right in there. You bend it a couple times, and it fits right in there, just dandy dandy. Take the safeties off, and then we just put a little pressure on like that, and there it should be. It's so inviting, you'd want to crawl right in there.
Oh, hell yeah, hold me back. And then you just tuck some
yeah, I finished it off with a few bows along the sides to really channel them right down the middle. I just really like these for your main catches. I tell you, man, they come right down through that pan and just straight through, just a nice straight through catch.
Well, the sun is just touching the top of the trees. 2 brutal cold days. Brutal conditions, no snow and rough. And you know, the end of a 2-week cold spell. But you know what? We persevered.
Yeah.
You guys have beautiful country here. You're hard workers. And the cabin last night with that wood stove was very, very welcome. It was a good way to spend the night. And although I did hear complaints that I maybe got it a little too hot last night.
Oh, little bit too hot.
Don't tell Sandy.
Oh, man.
Here's the part, though, that I am the most envious of. This is your home.
That's where I live.
This is his home, and his trap line starts right here. You can't get any better gig than this. I want to thank you very much. I want to thank David. I want to thank Lyndon. This was a great time.
Well, we really enjoyed your company, Rich. You're a great guy to work with and very knowledgeable as well, and lots of fun.
All right. Okay, I hope you enjoyed our very cold trip here to Saskatchewan, and we'll see you down the line.
You can keep up with all the action at trappinginc.com or join our Facebook and YouTube sites.